computer, and they're like obsessed. I've never seen kids like love reading more, but since they can do it on technology, they actually like are excited to go home and read. And their parents like write notes saying the program's so good. So there's actually an app on iTunes that they could go home and download, and it's like a coin tossing app, and you can make them go home and do homework and have them play the game and compare their results to Clara and Daniel's, and you can have a discussion about that the next day.
Is it free?
Yes.
That's very important.
That's a really good idea.
So the second activity, probability doesn't really come up much in the New York State core standards. So I wanted to show you something for the upper grades that the NCTM standards really relate to. So, So this is a website, and it has all different math games, but for this purpose we'll use probability ones. There's ones that relate to fractions, like how many of the fish, how many red out of the yellow, because in the upper grades they really talk about likelihood, impossible, certain, more likely, less likely, and start introducing the concept of fractions, like what is the odds that I'll pull a red bear out of the jar? 3 out of 8. So there's these really cool games. We can play one. We're going to play Probability Pond. You can pick what you kind of want to play. There's games that relate to certain or impossible, more likely, less likely, and then there's finding the probability and showing a probability which is more of the fractions. So would anyone like to come up and play a game? Rachel? Just read to the class the question and the options at the bottom, and then you can...
Okay. It says, what are the chances of selecting a yellow firefly? And then the options are more likely, equally likely, or less likely.
Oh, he's going to eat them. Look at his eye then.
Okay, so less likely. Yep. Now try this problem. What are the chances of selecting a blue firefly? More, equally, or less?
Less.
Yep. Okay. A blue.
Okay, so you get the idea.
Wait, what happens
did
if
you get
you're
it wrong? Do the next one wrong.
Okay, what are the chances of selecting a red?
It froze up.
Oh.
I didn't count. Okay. What are the chances of selecting blue? That's okay. So that's less. So croak. That's not right. Click out.
Correct. I don't know why.
Oh, that's cool.
It was like a little tutorial.
So it's really a good website, and it's not just for probability, it's all math topics, so you could do that. And you could either do these at the stations, or you can do them, I know that my class has computer time they dedicate to math as well, so you could do it with that. Or on free time, I know my class also has independent reading time, or just independent time that you can have them go on the computer and do. Second thing is to use literature. I found these books. First one is called Probably Pistachio, and it talks about, again, equally likely, likelihood in general. And Brooke saw that I was using this book, and she showed me, she actually did a lesson in 5th grade on this book, and she had the kids take scenes out of the book and place it on the chart with their likelihood. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That's so cool.
Good job, Brookie.
So you should definitely use books when teaching math as well.
I love that.
And as an extension, there's fractions, decimals, and percents. And then you can go into the fractions and probability, which would be a good extension after you teach about likelihood.
And there's also this book, Jumanji.
Yeah.
Yes, also probability. Really good. Yeah.
Okay, so the instructional methods that we used in these three activities would be you connected to the students' everyday lives, which is key in this concept. We learning fun and interactive with the games and even reading the book. We used manipulatives. We gradually went from conceptual to procedural. We differentiated instruction and you could focus on kids' strengths and weaknesses. And then you gave ample opportunities for success, especially if you set up your classroom with workshops and stations regarding this topic. And then for assessment, formative, you could do checklists, observation, reasoning, all while they're working on either their guided practice, group work, independent work. And for summative, you can use a unit test or application to other subjects. Since it's such a versatile topic and you can apply it to different topics, you should definitely do it. And maybe if you're in a literature lesson or whatever, you can sneak in like, oh, what is the probability that this might happen, or what do you think the chances are, and so on. And then you could just do group or individual projects.